Hi dragonflies, how are you all doing? I really hope you're well. It's been a little while again, sorry about that, there's just some stuff going on, is all I can say, but I'm here today. Welcome if you are new here, my name is Dilly, and if you've been before, welcome back. I saw this VR on a couple of channels and I really liked it, I thought it was really good fun, so that's what we're going to do today. This is the hashtag my tarot identity, sorry. And this tag was originated, I believe, by Carrie's Mystical Musings, a fabulous channel. So yeah, I thought it would be quite a fun one to have a go at. So that's what we're doing today. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So the first prompt is a deck which represents my outward aesthetic, be that sort of dress sense, interior design, that kind of thing. I struggled, you'll see that there's a bit of a theme here actually. I struggled a little bit with trying to find a deck that really represented that. I think I would describe my aesthetic as vintage whimsy goth. Whimsy goth's a thing. I didn't know what whimsy goth was until about 3 months ago. Didn't even know it was a thing, but that's because I'm 46 and very out of touch with the world. So, but yeah, so trying to find a sort of deck that represents those things was really, really tricky. So I have kind of broken the rules a touch here by going for 2 decks, Tarot of Mystical Moments and the Hedge Witch Tarot, because I couldn't choose between the two, but I think possibly Tarot of Mystical Moments would be the closest to representing my visual aesthetic, she says. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we're kind of there. So kind of, I'm not a kind of all black kind of, having said that, I'm wearing entirely black today. I do like a little bit of color and I like florals, but I also like something a bit different. I definitely like vintage. I love to buy pre-loved or vintage clothes as well. But I also love shops like Disturbia, because they kind of do a sort of, they make kind of gothic stuff, but a lot of it's got whimsy and florals, and I love a kind of pattern. I love a filigree design. I like a busy pattern that's kind of intricate and vintagey. So yeah, I think that actually to the point where I don't even know if I'm going to show any of the Hedge Witch Tarot, because yes, if I was going to wear a bathing suit, it would be something like that. There's no bikinis here. There's a bit of thread. Yeah, I think this probably is the closest thing I can find, and sort of like my bedroom is like my little sacred space. Basically, I mean, my husband and I do not share a bedroom because he snores like mad. I'm a super light sleeper, frequent insomniac, or I have been in the past. And our marriage is so much happier that way. Yeah, so my little room, my space is kind of toadstools and fairies and antique bits of furniture or pre-loved bits of furniture, but I've got a 1950s vintage dressing table, and I'm talking without showing cards. I've got a new cupboard that I got on Facebook Marketplace, which is sort of Chinese with little inlays of mother of pearl and stuff. So I'm kind of, I like antique-y things, I like vintagey things, but I like swirly, kind of flowery, patterny things as well. There we go. That's quite a good representation of my aesthetic, I think. So yeah, yeah. I'm not going to show you the hedge witch because A, we'll be here all week, and B, I think this is probably quite a good representation because it's got the sort of whimsy gothy feel, but it's vintagey and antique-y at the same time. So yeah. Oh, I did see every single time I do that. Anyway, they must have some deep meaning, right? Continually feeling the need to turn the hanged man the other way around. I don't know. Anywho, so yeah, I may have been not here quite as often, dragonflies, but I'm still as ditzy as ever. So, you know, hopefully you won't be disappointed. That's probably, I think, the best representation of my outward aesthetic. Okay, so prompt number 2 is a deck that represents a guilty pleasure, an aesthetic you secretly love or haven't shown before. Now, even if you've only watched this video, you'll already see that I am quite the oversharer. So it's very unlikely that there's an aesthetic in any of my decks that I haven't shown you. It's very unlikely that there's any guilty pleasures or secret sort of secret loves that are hidden because that's just not me, really. I'm not guilty about any pleasures. So I think, you know, if you enjoy something, good on you. Do it. I mean, as long as it's not hurting anybody and it's a harmless thing, go for it. So yeah, that said, I thought I would show you instead a deck I have not shown you yet because it's new, but it's also it's an aesthetic that I haven't shown before, I think, but it's an aesthetic I absolutely love. And that is the Divine Deco Tarot by Hattie Thorn. I've become a little bit engrossed in Hattie Thorn decks, and I've ordered 2 more because I got a nice little Etsy discount having ordered this one. So I find her decks quite a little bit different. I think that's the thing. I'm trying now to buy decks that bring something new. So I've been really a little bit picky about my deck purchasing lately, because I kind of like, well, yeah, I've got something like that, or I've seen that before. It's not different. It's not giving me anything different. So I am looking for something a little bit more unique in a deck now, and I think that her decks seem to offer that. But anyway, here we have the Divine Deco. Look at the backs to start with. They are absolutely gorgeous. And as this is a new one, I don't think I've shuffled this, it will be in order. But honestly, how beautiful are these? Look at the Page of Swords, it's adorable. I love the, look, see, he's upside down. Is there something in my brain that's like, doesn't like things being upside down even when they're supposed to be? I don't, who knows? But yeah, this is gorgeous, this deck. The colour palette is to die for. And it's so different to anything else I've got, and that's why I love it. But I suppose it kind of, that I'm a big fan of, there's a couple, okay, so there's a couple of programs that I am a big fan of, and they're all really old, and some of you will remember them, some of you won't, but I'm a huge fan of Upstairs Downstairs. Do you remember Upstairs Downstairs? And my absolute favourite, oh gosh, I've watched it so many times since, is The House of Eliot. Do you remember The House of Eliot? So yeah, this kind of speaks to the, I guess I could say they're guilty pleasures, but I'm not guilty about enjoying them. They're great TV. So yeah. So there's a kind of a little bit of the House of Eliot-y vibe to it, I guess. So I think therefore that kind of fits the prompt, right? I don't know. But yeah, they're just gorgeous. And they kind of have the that sort of nod to the Oriental aesthetic that I love too, because this is the era where that was particularly fashionable, I guess, that influence. But yeah, it's just Super, super stunning. Look at that 10 of cups, so beautiful. And he's a very dapper 9 of cups. Love him. So yeah, I'm utterly in love with this deck. Look how cute. I'll just quickly show you some of the majors as well. They're just beautiful. Look at the High Priestess. Yeah, and you've got this sort of classical inspiration as well with the columns, the Ionic columns. Are they Ionic? Oh, that's A-level classical civilization completely leaving my brain. But yeah, it's a beautiful deck, and I'm probably going on about it for far too long, but I love the Hermit. But yeah, it's gorgeous. It's an absolutely stunning deck. Look, Hanged Man, right way around. I don't need to turn it around. I'm so happy. It's the little things in life, isn't it? Dragonflies. But yeah, look at the stars. Beautiful. So yeah, I'm very much in love with this deck. And that is, I think, an aesthetic that I have not shown you before. Okay, prompt 3. A deck that completely matches your personality. This is really tough because I'm all over the place, Dragonflies. You can probably, you know, if you've watched me before, you'll go, no, I could not pinpoint that down to one deck, Dilly. But I nearly went for like the Fantasy Night Theatre Tarot or the Broadway Tarot. But do you know what? I've spent a long time trying to figure out who I am outside of the performance world, because it was just my entire life for the first half of my life. That actually I thought, no, let's look at me now. Yes, I still love the performance world, but it is not my be all and end all anymore. My life is very different. I am very different. So didn't go for that. And I went for, you may be thinking, why? I don't actually, you know, with the shot, I don't actually think this is going to be, oh, it is mostly, we're mostly in shot. I think we might just have to move Mike back a little bit. There you go, Mike. Yeah, I chose this because in general, in normal life, in the normal world, unless things are a bit crappy, which honestly they are a little bit at the moment, but I'm trying to keep a positive mind. I'm generally, aside of that, I'm generally kind of a bit bubbly, possibly a head in the clouds a little bit of a dreamer, colourful, complex, bit of an inner child. Just, yeah, I just think that this deck represents the colour of my personality, but with the sort of, I like to think there's maybe a little bit of the depth and the complexities, I suppose, of my personality. Yeah, I don't know. It's just the deck that sprung to mind when I thought about who am I now, not who was I. And it's really powerful to think that way, actually. It's funny what pulling a deck can do, really, isn't it? But I also obviously love that this has got dragonflies in it quite frequently. That's obviously a big draw. Yeah, I think, you know, it's a little bit fantastical, a little bit, you know, imaginative, creative, a little bit bubbly, but then maybe a little bit chaotic and unfocused, a bit all over the place. I mean, that's, you know, like that, you see. That's all kind of, whoa, I'm all bubbly and I'm all over the place. And I don't know, yeah, I think that dragonflies. Why do you watch me? Come on. What is it you get out of this? Oh, dearie me. Anyway, so yeah, that's that deck anyway. That's my it doesn't completely reflect my personality, as the prompt suggests, because I'm just, you know, as I have been told many times, I'm a contradiction. I'm a little bit woo. But do you know what? Just had to do that. Anyway, yeah, Tarot of the Moon Garden, prompt 3, deck that represents my personality. Done. All right, so prompt number 4, is that what we're on? Yeah. So a deck that represents a fun fact or something unique about you. Now, as I said, I'm an oversharer. I don't think there's much that you don't know about me, honestly, dragonflies. Yeah, but I think there's one little thing, which is like, I think if anyone said to me, oh, what's a fun fact no one would expect about you? What no one would, you know, have guessed. And I often think this would be my answer. So I've gone with that. I'm trying to find a deck that represents it was tricky. I've gone with this one. This is Chang'an's, that's not how you say it, Illusion Tarot, which is a Kickstarter that arrived not that long ago, and I have done a separate little walkthrough of this. Well, sort of a walkthrough, but a show of this deck. It's so beautiful. Now, this isn't the thing that I like, sort of Chinese aesthetic. That's not why I've chosen this one for that, because you know that I've mentioned that before. But my reasoning for this is that when I stopped dancing and when I stopped teaching dance, my body was going, right, you're on a desk, doing a desk job at the moment. You need to move. You've been moving for, you know, getting on for 30 years non-stop. You need to do something. And very randomly, I got dragged along to a kung fu class. And I kind of got a bit hooked on it for quite some time. And I actually made it to black sash level. And I did my black sash, it's not called an exam or a test. Can't remember what they call it. But yeah, I did that when I was 20 weeks pregnant. Might have even been 18 weeks, because we didn't know that Mini Dilly was going to be a girl at that point, I don't think. Or did we? I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I got my black sash in Kung Fu at 20 weeks pregnant. That's my unique little fact about me. And, you know, you learn within the sort of physical side of it. There's also sort of a spiritual side to it, and a lot of learning about Chinese culture and history and legend and the history of the art, the martial art, and various things like that. So, and actually part of the black sash grading, that's it, grading, was to write a piece on the sort of foundations and etc. behind the art, and to give a talk about it, which obviously was right up my street because I never shut up, so that bit I could do. I think the only thing I didn't do was the 100 press-ups. I didn't do that. I possibly could have done, but I very much am glad I didn't have to. And I don't think I could do a single press-up now, dragonflies. I'd look like a sort of, I don't know, like a flatfish, I think. Yeah, so anyway, so this is the closest deck I could think of for that particular fact, but I'm pleased to show it again because it's such a stunning deck. And yeah, so there we go. I haven't done, I did stop practicing Kung Fu after Dilly was born. Mini Dilly, sorry, was born. I had a C-section and was quite poorly afterwards. So it just kind of one of those things that kind of fizzled out really. But yeah, it's a random fact about me that maybe you didn't know. So there we go. Okay, the next prompt is a deck that represents your alter ego. Again, could be a million decks. I don't have an alter ego. I think I have about 20. I swear my husband wakes up in the morning and goes, right, which Sarah are we getting today? Sorry, for those who don't know, Sarah is my real name, Dilly is my nickname. Anyway, yeah, so this is really hard. But I kind of went for probably a side of me that is not as prominent, I guess, as all the others, but it is part of me. Let me just try and... There we go. This was a Kickstarter. This is the Runway Tarot, Fashion Tarot, which I adore. I love this. I got this on eBay, actually, because I obviously missed the original Kickstarter. Now, I love the Pamela Coleman Smith card and the Arthur Edward Waite cards. They are so cool. Now, as you know, if you've watched before, I have a little vintage fashion business, and I love vintage aesthetic. But I just love fashion and design and yeah, anything visual like that. And I have been known in the past, just as a hobby, mind you, because really I'm not good enough for seriousness, but to just sort of do some fashion design illustrations. I love drawing and painting, and I really enjoyed, and I've mostly designed wedding dresses. I actually designed a wedding dress for my friend, but she's not got married yet, so watch this space for that one. But yeah, so there is a lot about the fashion industry that I am not on board with, hence running a vintage fashion business, and, you know, going pre-loved wherever and whenever I can. But I really appreciate the beauty and, you know, a little bit the glamour and the, you know, yeah, I think that I think it's the sort of slightly perhaps superficial side of me. It's a smaller part, it's a smaller alter ego, that just, you know, actually, wouldn't it be nice one day just to go and blow like a few grand if I had it, which I don't, in Harrods or Selfridges, or go, you know, walk into, I don't know, the Chanel boutique or something and just go, yeah, I'll have that one, and that one. I mean, not that they'd have anything remotely in my size. Look at me putting the handbag the right way around. Woo! Yeah, but anyway, there is that little side of me. It's like, oh, design a handbag. You know, I don't do it, A, because I can't afford to, and B, it's a bit of a no-no for me. A lot of things about the fashion industry, particularly fast fashion. But yeah, so not necessarily sort of couture, but yeah, I think that's a little bit of my alter ego. There is a little part of me that would be quite happy, you know, walking up and down the street in Knightsbridge with my Birkin bag and Jimmy Choos and stuff, but well, that would probably fall on my bottom if I was to wear heels like that now. But yeah, anyway, so that's the alter ego. She doesn't get an outing really, A, because she's not got enough money, and B, because I sort of, you know, it's something I like to look at and I like to think about, but it's not a thing for me that I'd actually do. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. Usual waffle, and there we go. This one was actually a much easier prompt to answer. This is a deck that represents who you are as a bestie. I really hope that my closest friends will agree with this, and I hope that they wouldn't actually just choose like a horribly annoying deck, or I don't know, really, a loud deck, or a deck that won't shut up. I don't know, but I like to think, I hope this is what I try to be as a bestie, is first aid for broken hearts. My husband and I are perpetual helpers. We, you know, if we see somebody that is in distress, needs help, and we think we can help, then we will. And we're I guess sometimes we maybe get taken advantage of because of that at times, but I wouldn't change it. And particularly for those closest to me, if there is anything I can do for them, I will do it. And I like to think I'm not one of those people that says, oh, if you need me, you know, call me anytime. And then I go, actually, no, I didn't mean that. I genuinely mean it with those that are closest to me. A very close family member, as I've said before, is going through something really, really dreadful, really not good at the moment. And I don't live close enough to be there all the time. And the frustration that I feel, and how sort of impotent I feel, because I want to be there doing all the things. I want to be there helping as much as I can, you know. And we've got a lurgy as well at the moment. Mini Dilly's been off school for a couple of days. I've got a sore throat, and the husband's all full of various kind of mucusy stuff. So, you know, and because of that, we cannot visit this particular family member until we know. So yeah, and it's, yeah, I just want to be there doing more than I am, and it's so frustrating. But if there is something I can do, if there's anybody that's sad, hurt, in trouble, I'm there, and I want to be there. And it's I hope that that's how my besties view me. It's what I try to be for them. So yeah. Oh, that got a bit deeper than it was supposed to for a VR, didn't it? That was my just supposed, you know, this is quite a in-depth VR, isn't it, really, if you're looking at your personality and your identity. Yeah, but this is one of my absolute favorite decks. I adore this deck so much. It's just sheer perfection, I think, this deck. It's one of those decks that's just got everything right. So yeah, yeah, First Aid for Broken Hearts by Nanara. I'm very much hoping that that is who I am as a bestie. It's certainly who I try to be. Okay, the next prompt is, hang on, I've got to put the decks on top of my book and can't read. Yeah, this is a dream location, dream vacation, somewhere you'd want to live. I really, really want to go to Athens, but I don't have much in the way of decks. I don't think I have a single. Oh, no, that's not true. I do. I have the Elysian Tarot, but anyway, that's not where I've gone with this one. But actually, the places I most want to visit are historical places and places with a real meaning for paganism and for the ancient ancestors, but you know, for people that came before us and arguably had greater knowledge than us, and also because of a large part of my heritage, I want to really visit. I've never been to Scotland and I've never been to Ireland, and I just, yeah, it was really tough actually to, I've got probably more oracle decks that sort of suggest this or represent this, but this I think is probably the closest tarot deck. One place I so want to go one day is Skara Brae on Orkney, and so many places in Ireland. I even want to go to, like, I've never been, look, here we go, look, Hangman, which way around does that go, Dilly? Come on. I even want to go to Stonehenge. I've not, I may have been when I was really tiny, but I don't remember it. And we keep meaning to go and then not getting round to it. I want to go to Avebury, and yeah, I want to see and feel the people that went before. And I love doing that at places like Westminster Abbey is one of my favourite places ever. Standing by the tomb of Lady Margaret Beaufort is like a spine-tingly, goosebumpy moment. But I want to go further back. I feel older than that. Do you know what I mean? My soul feels old enough to go somewhere like Skara Brae, Avebury, and just Glastonbury. I want to go to Glastonbury, and just soak it in and feel connected to something that I feel I am connected to. Does that make even the slightest bit of sense? Does it? I don't know, Dragonflies, but you know, I feel that I have this connection, and I want to actually be in a place where I can physically feel it. Does that make, yeah, that, I don't know, but I'm sure that you know what I mean, or you can sort of unravel it from the diatribe that is emitting from my face hole at this precise moment in time. But yeah, so yeah, the Celtic Tarot, I think, is probably, you know, it's not exotic. It's not, I mean, I've been to a few places. I worked on a cruise ship, so I've been to sort of, you know, the Caribbean and places like that, just Spain and various, but it's not, I want to explore Britain a lot more, and I want to explore magical places and ancient places. That's what I want to do. So yeah, and places of my ancestors, and that is why I chose the Celtic Tarot, because of my large part Celtic heritage. There we go. Alrighty, so moving on, the next prompt is a deck that brings out your creative side. Ooh, that was a tricky one as well. I actually nearly pulled my own deck again, because that literally was born of my creativity. Like, you've seen that so many times, and I don't want to seem sort of self-congratulatory, really, because honestly, it's not worth congratulating myself over. That's not true. No, I mustn't do myself down. I love it and I'm really pleased with it, but it is, you know, it's a rough little thing that I did for me. Sorry, I'm just trying to find the deck that I've chosen. There we go. But instead, I have gone for the Victorian Fairy Tarot, because this is probably part of the inspiration for my deck. And also it's a world and a style that really appeals to my creativity. I scrapbook and the scrap book pages I put together, so many of them are fairy or mystical or fantastical, or these little places that, you know, when I was a mini Dilly, I went to in my mind, and I played in my imagination, and I think that that's it. It sparks my imagination, both my childhood imagination and as an adult. And I love the art style, and I love the backs. I mean, this is the kind of stuff I doodle. Like, if I'm on the phone to somebody or in a really dull meeting, this is what I doodle. You know, swirly patterns with leaves and buds and fairies, and so yeah, it's probably actually the closest deck I can find to kind of represent that, I think. And I like the sort of almost kind of sepia feel about the colour palette. I love it. So that's kind of quite antique-y, vintagey. I love that about it. It's just a lot of the things that I really love. Oh God, see that makes me think of like the Elf Workshop, and you know, it sparks my imagination and my curiosity and my inner child, and it makes me want to go and, you know, draw or paint this world, or just go and disappear with my imagination into this world. And I love this card. I don't know that oh gosh, I was talking to my husband about this the other day, and I think I might have mentioned this on the channel. There's a book that we had, my sister and I had as kids, and I think my mum still has it actually. But it's a bit sort of worse for wear now. I don't even think it might not even have covers left. I don't know. But I from research, it came out in 1982. So I was, what, sort of 3. Yeah, 3. And it was released by W.H. Smith, and it was called A Storytime Treasury. And it had pictures of two pirates and a treasure chest on the front. And in it was some amazing stories. One of them was Mr. Boffin's Bubble. I don't know if anyone's ever seen it, but this guy is Mr. Boffin. This is Mr. Boffin. He made these bubbles that used to grow hair on people, like they'd pop on your face and you grow a massive beard and moustache. That just reminded me of that. And the stories that I remember reading over and over again, or when I was really small, having read to me over and over again, was Bumbly Witch and Grumbly Witch. I was fascinated by them. I wanted to be Bumbly Witch. I thought she was wonderful. She was a little bit body shamed, actually. You know, back in like the early 80s, you know, there wasn't the awareness then, but she was body shamed because she kept falling over into puddles because she'd eaten too many pies. So that may not have helped my that, and growing up as a dancer may not have helped my body image terribly much, but I just loved the witchiness. I loved it, and just, you know, and remembering that makes me think, oh gosh, yeah, I did start younger than, you know, this isn't a new thing for me. So yeah, anyway, I digress somewhat, but I can't find, I really want to find a copy of that book. There is a US version that came out in 1985, which has the same stories in it, but I really want the version with the pirates, the W.H. Smith version. So anyone comes across it, send me a link. That would be amazing. Yeah, anyway, that deck sparks my creativity. Okay. This is the penultimate prompt, and I'm so frustrated by this one, purely because I know exactly the deck that works for this one, and it's a deck I don't have. It's a deck that I want so badly. I've tried to order it. Okay, I should tell you this. This prompt is a deck that represents the landscape in my dreams. I've got a lot of landscapes in my dreams, but there is one that really springs to mind. And the deck for that is the Tildwick Tarot. And I keep trying to order the anniversary edition on their website. But I keep, no matter what card I use, whatever, it just keeps sort of rejecting the transaction. And I've emailed them and not heard back. And oh, it's so frustrating because I so badly want that deck, and all the pre-loved copies are so expensive. They're way out of my budget, really, for a deck, and I want it so much. And the reason it fits this prompt is because I have a recurring dream about moving into a big sort of abandoned manor house. And while I talk about this. The closest thing I had really to the feel of that landscape was the Heartwood tarot, but this, you know, because it's got some sort of rundown sort of rooms and scenery. This is the closest one I've got to it, but the Tilwick would have been absolutely, oh hello, would have been absolutely perfect. So yeah. Oh, any advice on getting the Tilwick tarot would be great. It's so frustrating that their website just, it keeps rejecting me. I feel quite attacked. I'm joking. Anyway, yeah, so this is I have a recurring dream that I'm in a massive manor house we've moved into, and I'm sort of choosing which room is going to be mine, which one I'm going to sleep in, where Mini Dilly's going to sleep, where we're going to put our furniture, how we're going to get our furniture in there, because it's such a big place and there's no, you know, we've got such little furniture to fill it, and we're showing people around it, or I'm walking around it on my own and it's clearly haunted. Sometimes there are actual ghosts in there. Sometimes I just feel the presence of ghosts but don't see them. But yeah, but it has this is the kind of feel that it has, and it's just it's the same house every time. And you know, sometimes weirdly, on the odd occasion, we're visiting the house, and it's actually belongs to something like English Heritage or the National Trust, and we're visiting it as sort of like tourists and seeing it in its original state, how it would have looked. There's a massive staircase with a kind of great big mezzanine that goes around like that. But then other times it's you know, run down, almost empty. There might be the odd little bit of old furniture in there. It needs to go clean, it needs a paint, you know. And so I'd be really intrigued if any of you are kind of, I'm not up on dream interpretation, but if anyone could sort of explain that random recurring dream in the same house. It's always the same house. Really, really strange. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of the closest I can sort of get to my dream landscape. I have other landscapes in my dream, but that's a recurring one, and it's an interesting one. So yeah, anyone who interprets dreams and wants to interpret that little fella for me, go ahead. Okie dokie. So the final prompt. So we're about to get a little bit deep here, dragonflies. This is a deck that reflects sort of the season of life that you're in now, or your energy or mood currently. I very nearly pulled the Grieving Tarot, just because of things that are going on at the moment. But then I kind of thought more open-mindedly about it and more positively about it, and you know, a bit more widely than just one specific thing. And I came up with the Change Tarot, because that's kind of where I am. My husband was saying yesterday, we're in that period of our life where there is a lot of change. You know, he's 51, I'm 46. You know, my nephew's grown up, he's 18 and he's gone off to performing arts college, and my niece is in her GCSE year, and my you know, Mini Dilly started high school. Massive shift in career change for both me and my husband, and you know, a lot of those things are really positive. But also we're in that phase where, you know, people we know are getting older. We've had loss and illness, and it feels like a lot of things are not the same. And actually, speaking again of dreams, I keep dreaming of past situations and people from the past. And I think that so much has changed so drastically for us in the last 3 years, 3-4 years, that I think that the change tarot is exactly where we are. And actually, I think it's important for me to realize that a lot of the change is good, is positive change. And whilst there is change that is really not, I sort of need to look a bit more broadly. I need to look a bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? I need to look a little bit more sort of widely at things, and not quite so sort of tunnel vision, I guess. It's very easy to focus on the bad things. So yeah, I think that in a very positive way and not just a negative way, things are changing, and there's a lot of change, and this is the deck for that. This is the deck for the time of life, and the season of life that I am currently in. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about that, really. Okay, so yeah, that was the my tarot identity hashtag by Carrie's Mystical Musings. I enjoyed doing it. I got a bit introspective. I appreciate that. I do apologise, dragonflies. But I've got a few more videos in the offing. Hopefully that'll be slightly less gloomy dilly and more silly dilly again. I've built my ancestor altar for the month as the veil is thinning, and I'm really pleased with that. I've kind of handmade picture frames for pictures of ancestors, and I'll do a video showing you that. It's kind of getting into jumper season, jumpers and onesies and autumn leaves crunching under your feet, and you know, cozying up and drinking a hot drink. And yeah, I'm really excited now about this season. And yeah, I will probably do a video sharing a little bit about that, maybe. I think there's a favourite cards video coming up. I think I haven't done, I think it's Pentacles I've not done yet, so I'll be looking at that. As I say, I've got another couple of Hattie Thorn decks coming, which I will probably show off when they arrive. Yeah, so it's not all doom and gloom here, dragonflies, I'm sorry. Anyway, I will stop battering on now and leave you guys to it. Thank you so much if you've managed to stick with me to the end. Your certificate will be in the post. And yeah, I will see you again soon. Take care, lovely dragonflies. Bye-bye.